Hi, it's Joey, and I'm here to do a scary story time because it's the month of Halloween, it's October, and I just wanted to do. I don't know if I'm gonna do three this month like I did last year. I may do one more after this, I'm not sure. But I was supposed to film a lot more storytime videos, but because it is October and I wanted to film scary story times, this is what we're gonna do. There's a lot going on in my life, so just keeping it real. Um, okay. So where do I start with the story? So this was, I'm gonna say it was October of 2010. So I just left high school, and I was going into college, and I met these kids in my first semester, and they were very what's the word? They weren't like gothic, but they were like into the spiritual type of like spirituals, energies, and rocks and all that stuff type of thing. I didn't mind. I thought it was cool. Um, so a month into meeting them, so I met them in class like end of August, and we started hanging out. Just hanging out at the mall, restaurants, whatever, just normal stuff. And they, sadly, one of the friends, his name was Jeff. His grandma died of a very long battle of brain cancer. And so what happened was that he he was out of school for a couple of weeks because he was like really upset about it. So this is probably the weekend or the week of Halloween. He came back to school, and he said to me and a couple of other friends, he was like, this has been really hitting me hard. I really want us to go to my grandma's house, go into her basement, and I need to speak to her. I need closure. I need to say goodbye. I need to speak to her, because his grandmother was like a second mom to him. So with that, we said sure. Stupid ass, we said sure. So we went into his grandmother's basement, and we shut the lights off. He lit the candles, and he took out the Ouija board, and we started like playing around with it for a second. We just started like doing things with the Ouija board, like asking it questions. Didn't move or do anything, so we thought it was weird. It just was not moving. So we were like, listen, I don't think we're gonna be able to talk to your grandmother through an Ouija board. And he just was like, wait, let me just ask it a few more questions. So he was like, Grandma, if you're here, please just let me know. Just please, I miss you so much. I need you to be here. With that, the candles blew out. Like, out of the blue. Like, it blew out. There was no wind. The windows weren't opened. Like, nothing. It just blew. And we were just like, oh my god. So we're like in the pitch dark, and we relight the candles, and we're like, okay, Grandma, this is you. Keep talking to us. So we have our hands on the Ouija board, and it starts to move, and everyone swears that they didn't do it, that they weren't touching it or moving it, and I believe them because look what happened to the candles just now. So like there must be something else in this room. So we're moving the Ouija board, or the force is moving the Ouija board, And it starts to spell out, like, it says WATCHOUT. Just like, well, why did it say that? Like, why did it say watch out on the Ouija board, right? I thought that was weird. And then it says, and then Jeff asks, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So then, and then the Ouija board went like, MYDEADWASNTANACCIDENT. So basically, what she spelled out was, my death wasn't an accident, which was odd because she had cancer. So I don't know what she meant, like her death wasn't an accident, because she was suffering with cancer. She was beating it, but it was sudden, but it wasn't, because we all figured it was because she had cancer was the reason why she died, obviously. Like, that was the diagnosis. Obviously, because she had cancer. So we were just like, whoa, what do you mean her death wasn't an accident? Like, why is she saying that on the Ouija? Like, well, who's playing this game? Like, why would someone make this shit up? Like, why would someone play games with you? So Jeff got pissed. She's like, listen, if any of you are doing this, don't do it anymore. And we're like, no, none of us are doing it. I swear I wasn't doing it. I know I wasn't. And he's just like, listen, like, this is my grandma, this is my family. Like, we need to get to the bottom of this. So if this is really her telling me this, that means we have to look into this. So immediately, as we were, like, literally taking our hands off the Ouija board, the lights started flickering on and off. And we were like, oh my god, like, what the hell's going on, right? And then Jeff swore, I didn't see this, but Jeff swore he saw a shadow of his grandmother in, like, the side of, like, the friggin', like, wall. Like there was a corner, and he said he could have sworn he saw her shadow while the lights were flickering on and off. And I was just like, oh my god, I'm like, stop. So lights finally turn back on, and they don't stop, and they stop flickering. And at this point, I leave. I'm like, deuces, I'm done. I'm not dying in this house. Like, I'm sorry, this is not happening. So, this is when the story gets crazy, because we find out what actually happened to the grandmother. So, I thought going home, I was like, okay, someone was playing a trick. Her death was an accident. Like, it wasn't like someone did something to her. It's just she had cancer. So I didn't know what the hell was going on. The lights were flickering. The candles blew out. I don't know. The shit was acting really freaking weird. He said he saw his grandma's shadow. I was confused about the whole damn thing. So, we did not see Jeff the next couple weeks in school. He didn't come back to school. And he wouldn't answer our phone calls. He wouldn't answer our text messages. He deactivated his Facebook. And we got worried, because we were like, oh my god, like, what the fuck is going on? Did something happen to Jeff? What happened was that I showed up to Jeff's doorstep, finally, because I had enough. I'm like, it's been weeks now. Now it's like November. Like, it was enough. So I went. No one answered. No one answered the door. It was like, it looked like nobody was fucking home, or no one was living in that house. Like, it was crazy. So I was like, what the hell is going on? So my brother told me, he goes, remember that kid? This was a couple days after I went to his house, and then no one answered. Her brother was like, your friend Jeff, I saw him in the paper today. I said, what do you mean you saw him in the paper? Well, he did this interview, and he was talking about how he found out that his grandma's death wasn't due to her having cancer, even though she had cancer. But that wasn't the reason why she died. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what? Show me the article. So I'm reading the article, and I'm like, oh my god, I couldn't believe what I was reading. So what happened was that the grandfather was drinking a lot during this whole process of her having cancer. He got really drunk and he was resentful because he had to take care of her and he didn't want to do that. He didn't like the fact that he had to take care of her. And he felt that, I don't know the whole story, but he felt like he had this huge responsibility that, you know, he had a bad hip or something, he had a bad leg injury, and it's like she was like really over dependent of him, and he couldn't take it anymore. So he got really, really drunk one night, and she asked him to do something, and it set him off, and he put a ton of cleaning product in her soup. And she got sick, and then she died off of the soup that he fed her that night. You know, I don't know why people do these things, but, you know, I could just imagine how Jeff was feeling, you know, that his grandfather killed his grandmother. He poisoned her. He basically poisoned her with like cleaning products. And they had a suspicion. Jeff had a suspicion. Because finally got in touch with Jeff and I said, what the hell is going on here? And he has a suspicion. He said that he's been doing this for a while. He's been doing this for a long, long, long while. And finally, her body couldn't take it anymore. Whatever, like, liquid that he was putting in the soup, it finally took over and she died over it. But he thinks that she's been doing this for a while, trying to kill her for a while, and eventually just happened now. Like, it wasn't just one night, I'm gonna put dish soap or put cleaning product in the soup, and then that's it, she dead. I think he thinks that he's been doing this for a while. So, Jeff was not home that day when I went to his house. It was just a coincidence. I don't know, he just wasn't home. He just didn't answer whatever it was. He never really explained to me that story. I guess he just didn't answer the doorbell. It is what it is. But the grandfather was found guilty. And Jeff wanted to sue the hospital because the autopsy came back that she died of cancer. I guess they thought that she had cancer, that was the issue. But then they looked further into it and they found the stuff in his cabinets. Like the half-empty dish detergent and everything. And I was like, but how did you find out about this? Like, how did you find out that he actually did this? Like, killed her with this dish soap. And she finally saw that the police looked into it. Like, the police was the one that was really looking into it and found him guilty. The police saw just, like, empty liquor bottles, just like dish stuff and like cleaning products like hidden in the safe. And then they just put two and two together and they said something's just not right here. So yeah, they looked into it and they saw the autopsy of the body. Like, they literally had to, like, I don't even know what they did. I don't know all the technical stuff, But I think they found a way to do an autopsy and find like something in her system that was like that wasn't right. And I think they did that before, but they didn't really pay attention to it until now. And then when they finally saw that this probably was not an accident, that's when they were like, okay, there was something in her system that we found and we brushed it over, and it was weird chemicals. So the grandfather was found guilty. They questioned him for hours. He finally confessed. He did it. And yeah, I mean, obviously he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. He's going to die in prison. I mean, I think he's still in prison. Because he was 70 something when this happened, and now he's like 81, I think. I think he's still alive, but he's rotting in prison. But yeah, can you believe it? They were married for like, I think over 50 years they were married. And he snapped. Crazy. It's crazy. He was the one who killed her. And I can't believe it. And he did it in such a sneaky way. Like putting dish cleaning product in her soup. He did it in such a sneaky way. Like he didn't just take a knife and stab her away. Like he did it in such a sneaky, conniving, like malicious way. So that's my scary story time. That's the end of that. Jeff was just very pissed and hurt about the whole thing, so he deactivated his Facebook. He was just distraught that his grandfather could do something like this. He didn't come to class. He was put back a whole semester because of it. Yeah. So, anyways, that's the story. Hope you guys enjoyed this scary story time. I'll probably do a couple more. So, the story times that are coming up in November, because October is the only story times we can do in October are the scary story times. But in November, when November comes back and October's over, Halloween's over, I'm going to start doing the regular, just normal story times. And I have a lot to say. I have to talk about my job, what happened at my job. I want to talk about my stance on using men's or women's bathrooms. Like, I just have a whole, like, more array of, like, story times that I want to do. But I'm not going to do it until November because I want to get the scary story times out of the way. Yeah, so I have a lot to talk about. Oh my god, the Jane Dawson and Jeffree Star series has been awesome so far. Rest in peace to his daughter that just died. There was Daddy died. Sad. And, what else? What else did I want to say? The Bath and Body Works holiday stuff is starting to come out, and oh my god. It's funny how they can be so, like, lazy with the fall stuff, and then be so over the top and extravagant and, like, glamorous with the Christmas stuff. It's, like, crazy. It's like two extremes. It's like, they really outdid themselves with the Christmas stuff. It's like, wow, like, what they lacked of fall, they made up for it in Christmas. So far that I can see. I haven't smelled anything yet, but so far what I can see, I mean, everything looks amazing. So, yes. That's that. I love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed. My lipstick of the day was Mannequin with Diamond Juice lip gloss from Jeffree Star on top. Blood Sugar palette. I have on my eyes today. The Blood Sugar palette. I have like 7 shades of Blood Sugar palette on today. Yeah, I went really into the Blood Sugar palette. I love all these colors. Anyways, I'm gonna go now. I'm gonna upload this with. Oh, I know. I did Out for the Day like a week ago, and I basically said I was gonna do a story time about something else, but this is not it, and I didn't do it. So I'm just gonna upload this with my Out for the Day. And then I'm going to upload more scary story times during the month. And then I'm going to do an October favorites. I haven't done a favorites, I think, since June. So I'm going to do an October favorites. Yeah. Alright. I love you guys, and bye.